matching obviously is a jinn who in his heart really didn't or deserves to be guided if you
assigned to the closest.
Yes. Because they'll be given a longer period of time, longer period of schooling, a lot more information, a lot more knowledge of the universe than the human being.
Meaning the being that just got into being jinn rather than being human will be assigned to the best.
Right.
So 49 is
God is the one who does this
49 with 100
matching.
with 100. 49 with 100. I mean, assuming that down the scale, 1 is Satan and 101 is angel.
Okay.
101 is animal.
There are a lot more humans who are redeemed than jinns, by the way. They're not exactly equal.
Because of the 40 age.
Because of the what?
40 age.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, look, let's say a child comes in for 3 years and dies. The jinn is freed without being convinced of anything.
So then?
That jinn will probably not believe.
Oh, or he can also, it could also be the other way around that
yes, it can be the other way around. Yes.
He can be convinced and redeemed.
Yes, the jinn can be released after from a disbeliever.
Even after 40 and still become a believer.
Yes, this is Surah 17.
They
said we had the Quran and the foolish used to think that Jesus is God or Son of God. Don't tell me.
40 doesn't apply to
It's incredible miracle because these numbers are not it will really be hard human and with this numbers is like
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get you some cheers. She and Afami are inseparable. Leave is having a rough time. Wow. Today is really a fantastic day because we are going to share together God's gift to us as a result of the conference. As you know, God always gives us a gift every time we do something which is actually a gift from God. The conference itself is a gift from God, but each one of us underwent efforts and financial sacrifices and time sacrifices, and with God's sense, God is so generous. So He sent us a gift that is 2 great miracles. Each one of them makes the parting of the Red Sea a tiny miracle. They're all God's miracles. The parting of the Red Sea, the miracles of Jesus, all the miracles we see in the Quran are all God's miracles. But this miracle, God specializes honors especially by calling it one of the great miracles with a very strong assurance in the Arabic language. إنها لا إحدى الكبر. إنها إحدى الكبر is one of the great miracles, but إنها لا إحدى الكبر, it is indeed most assuredly one of the great miracles. And this is in Surah, as you know, it has to do, it is based on the number 19. I would ask you to situate yourself where you can see this. It is in Surah 74, verse 35. It is one of the greatest miracles. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 5 is 19. The digits add up to 19. And we're going to witness this together. In addition to this miracle that you see in the wall. And before I start explaining this, hopefully make it clear to you, I want to share with you how God collectively inspires the believers. Because in this miracle on the wall here, we have the first surah in the Quran consists of 7 verses, as you know. And then we wrote the number of every verse in the Quran. These are the verses in the first surah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this represents the first surah. It consists of 7 verses, and these are the verses in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next surah consists of 286 verses. So you write this next to this number. And then the number of every verse in the surah. 1, 2, and so on to 286. This will represent surah number 2. Now you're putting all these numbers next to each other until you go to the end of the Quran. And you end up with the number of digits. Each one of these is a digit. The number of digits is 12,692, which is a multiple of 19. This is the number of digits in this long number. And the long number itself is a multiple of 19. Okay? So, we know about this miracle on the wall. Everyone who walks in this masjid can witness a perpetual miracle that anyone can witness anywhere in the world. Now, the collective inspiration of the believers is that, you met Ali Fazali from New Mexico, Dr. Fazali, a physicist, who was talking to Abdullah and to a number of us, and he said, okay, this is the first surah, has 7 verses. This is the first verse, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is the second verse, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is the third verse, and so on. Then the next surah is 286. And this is the first verse, says Alif Lam Mim. So what happened to Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? It is not being considered here. So Ali said, want to put a 0 for Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Put a 0 here. And this is the first miracle we're going to witness today. Because Abdullah went to his computer and he put 0 for every Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As you know, the first Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the first verse, number 1 has a number. So there is no 0 in the first surah. And surah 9 does not have Bismillah. So it will not have a 0. So when you come to surah 9, it will look like this. This is now surah 9. You put the number of the surah, and then you don't put a 0, you start with the verse 1 right away. 1, 2, 3, and so on. With the other surahs, you put the number of verses, you put the number of the surah, followed by the 0.
Instead of 20, it must be total number of verses. Not just one.
Just a minute. Well, you put the number of the surah, you put the total number of verses. Yes, so you put also the number of the surah here. Because the disbelievers say, why do you ignore the number of the surah? Anyway, with this miracle, anything that the disbelievers want, God gave them. He left no excuse for them. But the idea here is that Ali suggested the zeros, and sure enough, when we put the zeros in for Bismillah, the end result was a multiple of 19. Now these colors are supposed to be erased easily. So let's take the number that represents surah number 1 and the beginning of surah number 2. Surah number 1 is number 1. It has 7 verses. Then you put the numbers of verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you put surah number 2. It has 286 verses. And then the Bismillah has a 0, and then 1, 2, so on to the end of the surah. And you go like this to the end of the Quran. Now, these zeros, they're not zeros because they are in the middle of the number. You have 11. If you have 11, it's 11, right? You put a 0 in the middle of the number, it becomes 101. There is no connection mathematically between 11 and 101. Except, so these zeros were inserted in that big number, and the end result is a very long number that is 13,038 digits. Is divisible by 19.
And the digits are...
No. The number of digits is not divisible by 19. Okay? This will take us to the second miracle, which is even greater than this one, if you can believe that. So, all collectively fall prostrate before God. I will lead you in the prostration, and then we'll repent to God and ask Him to guide us. Alhamdulillah, praise God, وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له, and we bear witness that there is no other God besides God. These miracles that we're witnessing are strictly mathematical or structural miracles. They have nothing to do with the literary miracle in the Quran. As you know, there is a literary miracle that has to do with the distribution of every letter. You know the Quranic initials, Alif, Lam, Mim, at the beginning of Surah number 2. The counts of Alif and Lam and Mim are mathematically controlled. The counts of Ha, Mim in the 7 Ha, Mim initial surahs are mathematically controlled. Every letter in the Quran is mathematically controlled. I'm talking about letters. Also words are mathematically controlled in the Quran. We're talking about the literary mathematical composition. The word God, as you know, is 2,698 times in the Quran. And if you add the numbers of verses wherever the word God is mentioned, it is 118,123, which is also multiple 19. The word Quran happens in the Quran 57 times, 19 times 3. When you add the surahs and verses, wherever the word Quran is found, the total is 44,008. 4,408, which is also multiple 19. So we're talking about a giant Rubik's Cube, which is consisting of two sections. A literary mathematical composition where the letters and the words are mathematically composed and distributed far beyond human ability. In Surah 17 verse 81 it says, if all the humans and all the jinns banded together to produce a Quran like this, they cannot do it. And it has nothing to do with literature. It has to do with this impossible mathematical composition, which is very simple to understand, but very impossible to imitate. What we're talking about today is strictly mathematical numbers. You take any book from the library. Every book in the library has chapters and sentences. And take those chapters and number the sentences. And see if there is any mathematical pattern in them. You will not find any. If you find anything, it will be by coincidence and maybe one chance of some kind of a like, for example, the number of sentences may be divisible by the number of chapters by accident in one of the books. That will be the extent of it. So we're talking now about strictly mathematics. It has nothing to do with the literary sense. The second, the miracle that we are witnessing. Let us take the Quran from the first verse to the last verse and give these verses numbers that Abdullah called a sequential number. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have Surah number 1. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is the first verse. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawm al-Din. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim wa lad-dallin. These are the first 7 verses of the Quran. And then we go to Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim of the second surah. That's number 8. And then the first verse of surah number 2 says Alif Lam Mim. That will be number 9. Are you following me? So we keep going to the end of the Quran. The last verse is number 6, 3, 4, 6, which is a multiple of 19. This is all the verses of the Quran, including Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in every surah. Surah 9 does not have any Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, now, of course, this is verse number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. Number 5, 6, 7, 0. Because this is the first Bismillah of Surah number 2. And this is verse number 1 of Surah number 2. And this is verse 6 of the last Surah of the Quran. So here we have two sets of numbers. We have the number of the verse and its sequential number in the Quran. So the last verse in the Quran is number 6 of the last surah, it is verse number 6. But it is number 6346 in the whole Quran. This is simple. Everybody following this. Very easy. So, what Abdullah did, he put all these numbers next to each other to form one very long number. But he also put the number of the surah before every surah. So before the numbers of surah number 1, he put the number of the surah, which is 1. So now the number representing the first surah of the Quran will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. And then you put surah number 2, and then 0, 8, 1, 9, 2, 10, 3, 11, 4, 12. Are you following me? No? Okay. The first surah in the Quran is 7 verses. And there are verses number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you arrange them from the beginning of the Quran sequentially, they are also number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the Bismillah of surah number 2 is number 8. The first verse in surah number 2 is number 9. So what you're doing in this column here, you're giving a number to every verse of the Quran from the beginning to the end. So if you go to the middle of the Quran, for example, verse number 1 of the last surah in the Quran, when you count from the beginning of the Quran, it becomes number 6341, 6341. In other words, up to the first verse of the last surah, we have 6341 verses. When you go to the last verse of the Quran, it is verse number 6 in the last surah. Min al-Jannati wal-Nas. This number 6 here says Min al-Jannati, the last verse of surah number 114. And it is number 6346 from the beginning of the Quran. It is number 6 from the beginning of the surah, and it is number 6346 from the beginning of the Quran. Okay? So far, so good. So, Abdullah put the number of every verse and the number of this verse from the beginning of the Quran. So verse number 7 in Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Hamd, is verse number 7. And it is also the 7th verse from the beginning of the Quran. And then Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim of Surah number 2 is number 0, as you know. And it is the 8th verse from the beginning of the Quran. The first verse in Surah number 2 is the 9th verse from the beginning of the Quran. So these numbers were put next to each other to form one big number. Except the number of every surah was at the beginning of every surah. So this is surah number 1. The number representing surah number 1 would be, here it is. Would be surah number 1. Verse number 1 in the surah. This is verse number 1 in the whole Quran. And then verse number 2 is also number 2 from the beginning of the Quran. 3 is also 3. 4, this is all one number. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. Then we go to surah number 2. We continue the numbers. Surah number 2. And we have the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is number 0. And it is the 8th verse. See, this was the 7th verse. The 8th verse from the beginning of the Quran. And then verse number 1 of surah number 2, which is the 9th verse from the beginning of the Quran. And then verse number 2 is the 10th verse from the Quran, and so on to the end of the Quran. We end up. Now, I want you to observe this with me. This number of the surah is one number. The number of the other verse is another number, and so on. Now, if we come here to the double numbers, the second verse of surah number 2 is number 2, but from the beginning of the Quran, it is number 10. So this is a number, and this is a number. If you count the numbers in the long number, they are, let me see. $12,806 numbers. This is the multiple of 19. This is the number of numbers. See, this is one number, it's 10. And this here also is one number. This is the last verse of the Quran. It is verse number 6346 in the whole Quran. It is verse number 6 in the last surah. So this is the number, this is the number, this is the number. The number of these numbers is 12806, which is the multiple of 19. Now, if you count the digits, meaning there are 2 digits here. This is 10. There's 2 digits. These are 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 digits. There's one number, but 4 digits. When you count the digits in this long number, you have 37088. This is the number. This is one long number that has 37,088 digits in it. This number of digits is the multiple of 19, and the long number itself is also a multiple of 19. So the whole world should be a Muslim tomorrow. So this, I mean, maybe this will clarify.
6346.
Yes, this adds up to 19, and it is a multiple of 19. This is the total number of verses in the Quran. It is 19 times
334.
Is that? Yes. The number of digits in that number, the basic number which has the number of verses followed by the number of every verse. This sheet of paper on the wall has the number of every verse in the whole Quran. And the number of digits there is exactly twice as much as the number of verses in the Quran. It's not necessary to have that connection, but it is true. Now, I don't want to confuse you anymore, but is there anything else to think of after that? You need to point out? Abdullah went to the computer and put the zeros in there, and then he walks in with this piece of paper casually. He said, "Oh, Abdullah, you have a piece of paper in your hand." All I said was we want to start a new translation of the Quran to be ready in case the demand increases and we have to print some more, maybe a few millions, inshallah. At the minute the suggestion of the new translation came, the flood is beginning already. Just awesome. I don't know what. There's something I need to say, but I forget what it is. This really leaves you speechless. Is there anything that is mysterious to anybody? Don't be embarrassed if you want to clarify any point. Otherwise, we will do the prayer, and as we prostrate to God, we remember these miracles. Oh, there is what I want to say. As you know, Surah 9 had these 2 false verses. And if we include these 2 false verses, 128 and 129, in that number, you don't have anything. You don't have divisible by 19. The whole thing collapses. And here, we're adding zeros inside for Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're putting zeros for each one. And you still have a divisible. If you include 2 false verses, the whole thing collapses. You have nothing. So right now we have something to talk about. Something awesome. When we inject these zeros, this is a zero. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Surah number 2. When you come to Surah 9, there is no Bismillah. If you put the zero, this is worth erasing. Something here struggling with these numbers. Hey, they are being erased. I just want to demonstrate for you Surah number 9. Okay, open your eyes now. The number where we inject the zeros, which is the first miracle we talked about. You put the surah number 9, and then you put the first verse in it, which is number 1. You put the verse numbers 127.
Previous miracle?
Yes.
First one you put on.
Yes. 127, right? Put the verse numbers. This is the total number of verses in the surah. If you put 129, which includes the 2 false verses, of course the whole thing collapses. And then you put verse number 1, and we go on to 127. And this will represent surah number 9. And then after that we get to surah number 10. So you put the number of the surah right after that. And then you put the number of verses, which is 106. For surah number 10. And then you put Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, 0. And then the first verse. And then the second verse, and so on to 106. Now, surah number 10, the number of verses, and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim has a 0. Surah number 9 does not have Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, so there is no 0. Now, at the end result is a very long number that is a multiple of 19. If you put Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in surah 9, you put a 0 here, the whole thing collapses. How is that for accuracy? Subhanallah. Salah. Most gracious, most merciful. The good land readily produces its plants by the leaving of its law, while the bad land rarely produces anything useful. You thus explain the revelations for people who are appreciative. What this verse is saying is that you recognize the tree by its fruit. You recognize the good person or the bad person by their actions, their words, what they produce. Good tree will bear good fruit. Bad tree will bear bad fruit. That's why the big fallacy about it is the intention that counts. It is the intention that counts when the person is perfect. From all actions and words are perfect. They say we worship God alone. We uphold the word of God alone. We believe in the hereafter, and everything is from the utterances looks perfect. This is when the intentions are what counts, because only God knows what's inside, what the convictions are. So if the person says, I cannot say La ilaha illallah by itself, I have to put Muhammad next to God, that person is a dead duck. So it's no longer, it's not a matter of intentions anymore. They tell you that you can't condemn a person for saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, putting some name next to the name of God, or for breaking the commandments regarding distinction among the messengers, etc., etc. It's the intention that counts, they say. But this is a big, big fallacy. The intention, when the Quran talks about the intention, is what counts. Is this what the Quran says? It is talking about when everything appears to be perfect. Noah. We sent Noah to his people, saying, O my people, worship God. You have no other God besides him. I fear for you the retribution of an awesome day. The leaders among his people said, we see that you are far astray. How could that be? Just telling them to worship God, right? This is always the case. Here comes a guy saying, worship God, and they say, you're far astray. You're way off. You're going to hell. Moses went to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said, Moses is here to corrupt your religion. Telling you to worship God. Yep, Satan does that. He said, O my people, I am not astray. I am a messenger from the Lord of the universe. I deliver to you the messages of my Lord, and I advise you, and I know from God what you do not know. Is it too much of a wonder that a message should come to you from your Lord through a man like you, to warn you and to lead you to righteousness, that you may attain mercy? They rejected him. Consequently, we saved him and those with him in the ark, and we drowned those who rejected our revelations, for they were blinded people. Same thing is happening right now. Same thing. God repeats that his system is never changeable. His system is never changeable. Now more than ever it is happening. And the same system is going to happen. same things, the same thing that the disbelievers said, the same thing that the messengers said, and the same consequences are happening right now. You notice Noah didn't say worship God and observe the Salat prayer. You do not see the Salat prayer before Abraham, or the fasting of Ramadan, or any other worships. People were very primitive, and just believing in God was sufficient to save them. Yes, of course. Both. Yeah, they were same idol worshippers and disbelievers.
Disbelievers think that idol worship.
They're both disbelievers. But there are disbelievers who don't believe that God exists.
Yes.
Idol worshippers believe in God. That's the difference. The idol worshippers are believers. Or they can be disbelievers because they worship idols.
But God divides people into two or three types.
Well, you see, they interfere, they overlap.
Because
see, the idol worshippers, the Muslims, for example, the Christians, they believe in God.
Because somebody told me that God divided people into three types. Why you said you met 5 types of people you divided? I said I met the 5 groups, and doesn't matter, no? I didn't say that.
There are many kinds of idol worshippers and many kinds of disbelievers. There are idol worshippers who worship idols and not God. They also worship the sun or the moon or the cow or whatever.
Yeah, and idol
and they don't believe in God. God, if you think that is God. But there are idol worshippers who believe in God and the cow.
And idol worship can be two to one of them. They practice. They don't practice, but they worship one another.
They're also the hypocrites.
Yes.
Hypocrites are the people who say they believe in God when they really don't. They believe in the hereafter when they really don't. But it's amazing how what was happening at the time of Noah, who was the first prophet after Adam, is exactly happening right now. With the same words. Let's read them again. We sent Noah to his people, saying, O my people, worship God. You have no other God besides him. Which means worship God alone. I fear for you the retribution of an awesome day. And there are many other places where Noah was mentioned. He said, I'm not asking you for any money. I'm not asking for any wage. All I'm asking you is to save you from the retribution. I'm inviting you to be forgiven by God. So they stuck their fingers in their ears, covered themselves with their clothes. What is it? A human being is averse to being saved. And there seems to be a resentment of a human being like them telling them to worship God alone, telling them that they are wrong. So it appears that ego is really the biggest God beside God. Because here in verse 63, is it too much of a wonder that a message should come to you from your Lord through a man like you, to warn you and to lead you to righteousness, that you may attain mercy? So it is not, kill your ego at the beginning of the Quran seems to be a very, very important prerequisite. And the intelligent ones will do that. We kill our ego. So I don't care who comes to tell me that God is telling him or her that we must reform, be righteous, and go to heaven. If I'm intelligent, if I'm stupid, I will say, who are you to tell me that? You're telling me I'm wrong? So it seems like the ego is the obstacle. And it has to be idol worship. Because why will a person resent another person? Because they think he's better than them. When they think he's better than them, that's idol worship. When you raise somebody over the truth, then That's idol worship. But the believer knows that the messenger is just one of us who has the same problems, the same requirements of belief, and therefore will not resent that. He's just one of us. He's not any better. There's no resentment. There's no ego, actually. But the idol worshippers say, wow, a messenger of God. Whoa, no. This is tremendous. So this is idol worship. It's all in their mentality. It's because they idolize the messenger of God that they cannot stand. The jealousy comes in, the ego comes in. And the believers realize that the messenger of God is just a flopster like the rest of us. Was required to listen to the message and believe without doubt.
I remind one of my friends that I talked to her about the messenger after so many hours that I spent time, and she believed and said, okay, messenger. And a week after, somebody said, Ashraf is messenger of God. And in verse in Arabic, Rasulullah. Rasulullah.
Right.
You didn't tell me Rasulullah. You said Rasul.
Right.
No, not Rasulullah.
Yes.
Rasulullah. I said, who was Rasul? Who? Fir'aun, Rasul, Shaitan, Rasul.
Exactly.
If he's right, it must be Rasulullah. Only Rasul, not Rasul. Rasulullah.
Actually, this is exactly what
you worship
Ismail Barakat did in the first conference. Exactly. Hassan Ramadan told Ismail, why don't you believe that he's a Rasul? And Ismail said, after some discussion, she told him, he discovered the miracle of Quran and this and that, and he couldn't believe. The Quran says, nobody touches the Quran unless he's a sincere believer. He said, yeah, okay, I agree that he's a Rasul. So Hassan said, that's right, it's Rasulullah. He said, oh no, wait a minute. So she said, what you believe he's a Rasul, but Rasul who? What else? It's just the expression. See, we idolize the expression of Rasulullah. Ismail never forgets this, and Hassan never forgets this. He was in the kitchen of that place in San Francisco. 64 is the inevitable consequences of disbelieving. They rejected him, consequently we saved him and those with him in the ark, and we drowned those who rejected our revelations, for they were blinded people. It is going to happen to our generation. It's going to happen now. Exactly when, we don't know. It's going to happen. It's going to be some kind of an ark. Hud, verse 65. To Ad we sent their brother Hud. He said, same thing. O my people, worship God. You have no other God besides Him, which means worship God alone. Would you then observe righteousness? The leaders, as usual, who disbelieved, have been bad. The leaders who disbelieved among his people said, we see that you are behaving foolishly. Foolishly. How can you tell us to worship God alone? You're an idiot. And we think that you are a liar. Kazzab. Yes. It's amazing. Use the word against me. Kazzab. What is Kazzab? What is Kazzab? Telling them worship God alone. You're a liar. You're Kazzab. You forget the message, and all the concern is you Kazzab that you're a messenger of God.
Just like a man from Surat who wrote in that South African article which you reproduced.
Yes.
On everything he used at page 199, volume 9 and 10.
Yes. Yes, you know. The fellow from India?
Yes.
Yes.
Surat.
We see that you are behaving foolishly and we think you are a liar. He said, O my people, there is no foolishness in me. I am a messenger from the Lord of the universe. I deliver to you my Lord's messages, and I honestly advise you. Is it too much of a wonder that a message should come to you from your Lord through a man like you to warn you? Recall that he made you inheritors after the people of Noah, and multiplied your number. Remember God's blessings, that you may succeed. Same things, right? 69. Is it too much of a wonder that a message should come to you from your Lord through a man like you? 64, 63. Is it too much of a wonder that a message should come to you from your Lord through a man like you? Same thing. Why is God repeating this with every message? Because human nature. It's going to happen every time. So these are actually good signs. Following the parents blindly, a human tragedy. Number 70. They said, did you come to make us worship God alone and abandon what our parents used to worship? We challenge you to bring the doom you threaten us with if you are truthful. Same thing is happening now. You want us to worship God alone and leave Muhammad and leave the Imams and leave the saints? You want to see leave Imam Ibn Hanbal and Imam Shafi'i? Just God alone. It's not one. 71. He said, you have incurred condemnation and wrath from your Lord. Do you argue with me in defense of innovations you have fabricated, you and your parents, in which God has placed no power? Therefore wait, and I will wait along with you. 72. We then saved him and those with him by mercy from us, and we annihilated those who rejected our revelations and refused to be believers. People come look at the message, examine it. If they find that the message is worship God alone, then they reject it and then they go. You think they got away with it. Then when they get the retribution, say, why is this happening to me? And they cry. And the people who see them at that time, they may feel sorry for them. They need to catch. She comes to the message. And then, because of something at the very end, she uses that as an excuse to reject the message. And she goes there, and then 10 years from now, she's hit by disaster. Why is this happening to me? You know? It doesn't happen to you. At the same time, none of the disbelievers gets away with it. You have to be smashed. You see them all the time. Having problems. Cancers. Disasters.
Just the knowledge of God's miracle, that there is a miracle put by God in the Quran in which they don't have. They run away even at that point of time. They've got the message. They've chosen not to see more about it.
Yeah. You have a fantastic, overwhelming miracle. Makes Moses and Jesus' miracles look like toys, children's stuff. And yet, they become diverted by something very flimsy. He picks his nose. You know, not bad. Really, I'm not exaggerating. Things like this. You had wonderful people here. They may be coming back, I don't know. But you have the Mu'inis, the Sabahis, people like that who seemingly were strong believers. Then they go and listen to Upper Miss Father sipping his whiskey and saying, well, Rashad didn't keep his word. He said, oh no, then we have to go to hell. We're not gonna do the mosque again. They made that state. Because I expressed my, because I told them when Adib was with him, my Upper Miss Father, I want them to live far from the mosque. And I said, okay, if you want them to live far from the mosque, live far from the mosque. But I think it is better for them to live far from the mosque. And then days later, I expressed, and I still do, my views that it is better for them to live near the mosque, because then Adib doesn't have to ride the bus to the mosque and everything like that. So they said I didn't give my word. Because I think that they should live near the mosque. So even if I didn't keep my word. But I went along with them. So I changed my mind. So I lied. So it's my neck. What does this have to do with the message? If I lied, it's my neck, right? Sometimes I accept mistakes just to destroy the idol worship. I may even deliberately make mistakes. Huh?
Make that mistake.
God issues
Yeah.
go along with it.
It's one of my very important jobs to destroy idols. So sometimes I will accept mistakes or will not defend myself or even deliberately make a mistake just to show that I make mistakes.
They're coming back.
I don't know. I hope they are. But this shows, here is the miracle, and then here is he didn't keep his word. So, which one should supersede the other one? And who are they listening to?
I was there the day that they were calling the Habib was the one who assisted
I know,
That's why he made it.
and I was sympathetic with him. He didn't want to live far from the house.
They are just struggling with that concept of message.
Yes, that. But because of that lack of belief, they have kind of glimpsed anything will drive them away. Used as an excuse.
I told them that, oh my God, you worship Rashad. We said, okay, Rashad did a mistake. If you worshipped him, when he does something
Right.
wrong, you break
Okay.
your idol, and you know. But and Alhamdulillah, I opened the Quran by accident, and it comes this Surah 24, Ayah 54. Say, obey God and obey the Messenger. If they refuse, then he is responsible for his obligation, and you are responsible for your obligations. If you obey him, you will be guided. The sole duty of the messenger is to deliver the message. By accident.
It's not to
Allahu
be perfect.
Akbar.
Alhamdulillah, you just open.
No, when I talk to them, I open just the Quran, by accident, and it comes to
At the
Allah
time.
at the time.
It's God. So you, they didn't,
God
that,
talk with us, Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
that changed them a little.
Alhamdulillah, I think.
Very strong.
Inshallah, all of them, if God
But as whoever is guided for his own good.
Yes.
I have no interest. I get emotionally involved with some people. I love them. I don't want them to drop out. There's nothing I can do. I can love them as much as I want. It's a very exacting process. 72 is almost the final result. We then saved him and those with him by mercy from us, and we annihilated those who rejected our revelations and refused to be believed. I think the retribution for this generation, the rejectors, will be a lot worse. Mainly because of the strength of the clarity of the message. And the sophistication and education of people have no excuse. Salih, number 73. To Thamud who sent their brother Salih, he said the same thing. Oh my people, worship God alone. You have no other God besides him, meaning alone. Proof has been provided for you from your Lord. This is God's camel to serve as a sign for you. Let her eat from God's earth, and do not touch her with any harm, lest you incur a painful retribution. You received proof. The camel was the proof that he was God's messenger.
God sent the camel out of the invisible camel. The camel was always there.
Well, it's a camel that showed up. They had herds of camels. And Salih said, this camel is my sign. And this camel will drink only on a specific day.
Won't drink on any other day.
Will not drink on any other day. And will have must have some other characteristics.
Yes.
But what is given to us in the Quran is that it's a camel that knows what day it is. Yes.
And compare the proof that was camel and now.
Yes.
Still they do.
So primitive science. 74. Recall that he made you inheritors after Ad and established you on earth, building mansions in its valleys and carving homes in its mountains. You shall remember God's blessings and do not roam the earth corrupting. The message, not the messenger, is important. The arrogant leaders among his people said to the common people who believed, do you know that Salih is sent by his Lord? They said, we are believers in the message he brought. The arrogant ones said,
you reject what you believe in. Subsequently, they slaughtered the camel, rebelled against the command of their Lord, and said, O Saleh, bring the doom you threaten us with if you are really a messenger. Consequently, okay, here it is. The quake annihilated them, leaving them dead in their homes. He turned away from them, saying, O my people, I have delivered my Lord's message to you and advised you, but you do not like any advices. So we can see the same system in all the prophets and messengers. The message is the same from the time of Adam, just one message: worship God alone. And it's not for God's benefit or to help God or anything, it's to redeem us. This is the course. What did you call the course? Something mad? Something mad? Remedial? Yes. Remedial submission. Remedial submission. This is the course we're here for more school. If we learn, if we pass the course, we go back to God. If we don't pass the course, we go to exile. God bless you. Congratulations. It's very important.
I think it may not be the only idol, but it certainly plays a part in every idol.
Well,
in every form of idol worship.
It's the last idol anyway.
At
the very end, it's the
idol. I'm thinking it is the only idol.
Yes. Almost. Maybe. The only one. It's a very good point. This stands out from what we read, the 3 pages we read this morning. The ego stands out as maybe the only other God besides God. I mean, the whole thing is ego to start with. What did Satan say? I can serve as a God too. I have enough power. It's an egotistic statement that happens to be wrong. So apparently we are ministers of Satan's. We have to kill this quality in us, killing ego. Right? Right. We have the same trait. As a matter of fact, we see repetitions. See repetitions. Satan's problem is ego, and our problem is also ego. So God exiled all the creatures with ego. I think they're too great. Oh, it's a simple thing. The twin also has an ego, though. Bigger one. It's a jinn.
The ego perhaps did not allow the humans in the other dimension first to believe that there could be only one God, because perhaps I'm just trying to rationalize or analyze that if Satan could be God, then someday perhaps they could be gods too.
Right. Limited, and to limited extent, they can be gods also. So in other words, Satan said I can be a god too. So apparently all of us said, yeah, maybe we can also be gods.
Like
little gods. So power too, yes.
Like in the Bible, Satan takes Jesus to a high point and shows the kingdoms of the earth. So this could be yours.
Yes. God gave Satan the earth as a dominion.
Yes. So he offered it to Jesus.
Yes, these are very important verses telling us what they're part of the picture. And God told Satan, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً, putting Satan to be a god of himself.
the same things with when we had a doubt that Satan, God, but Satan maybe. It's exactly like now that we say God, but Muhammad.
Just a miniature environment.
Another good point that you said last night about the people who worry, they want to believe that this is not God, but they afraid of people because people.
What will the people say?
Yes, this is one
About
of
me?
Ego too.
Even when you see, like, people always become attached with, like, they say our home team. Like when you have a home team, like a baseball team or something, you support it because it's our team.
Yes. Must be the best.
Must be the best kind of. So when they say our parents are following this,
yes.
again the ego comes in. It's our parents. Our parents are better than your parents, so how can they be wrong? Kind of thing.
It's one of the biggest problems is following the parents. Being prejudiced toward the parents.
That is why perhaps God gives us 40 years so that we start feeling like parents ourselves.
So
Yes.
also break away from the nest.
Yes.
Be independent thinkers.
Also, why should
Yes, prejudice to nationalism.
Our country is our.
You take a sleeping corner. You're sitting there enjoying everything. MashaAllah. That's the sleeping corner. Barbara's smile still fades.
If Barbara smiles,
I'm gonna miss you. Because you have such a nice smile.
Yeah. I mean, somewhat on the same subject but on a different page. This is one of the things I wanted to ask you. Before it says this, to give us a head start, the most merciful gathered all human beings before him prior to sending us to this world, and we bore witness that he alone is our Lord and Master, 172. Thus upholding God's absolute authority is a natural instinct, and that's the interior part of every human being. Now, does this mean that unlike animals and other beings, living beings besides humans, humans also hesitated, but then again reverted back the same way as animals did and bore witness that Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
No, this was a piece of knowledge that God gave us to be inside us as we come to this world. That's God's message to us.
He made us bear witness.
Right.
It's not that we voluntarily